Hey, what is going on, everybody? Hopefully you're having a good day so far. We're here. We're live. Another episode of MillenniYell with Billy and Mel. So what's going on, guys? Hopefully you're having a good Friday so far. Hopefully you have a really good week, right? It's been a long one, but we're here. We're coming to the end of the month, right? That last week of the month. And so it's a great time to talk about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about goals. But before we get into all that, guys, my name, like I said, we introduced ourselves already. But if you're going to be jumping on the live, please make sure you comment who you are, where you're from. We'd love to give you a shout out. And if you are jumping on the replay or going to be listening to us on podcast, your favorite podcast place, right? We're going to be there. So go check us out there. But like I said, before we get into all that, Mel, how are you doing? How's your week been? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm good. This week flew by, actually. I feel really good about some of the things that I got done. I wasn't completely overwhelmed, and I played a little. Last night, one of my really good girlfriends that was supposed to get married this year, who had to cancel their wedding, we took her outside to dinner and treated her to like a little, night on the town-ish. Not like bachelorette bridal shower, but we got her, and it's only the second time I've seen her during the shutdown. So, but yeah, I've gotten a lot. I felt really productive and good about the stuff that I've gotten done this week. So, looking for the weekend to relax. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I feel like a lot of people feel that way. For me, it definitely this week has been a little crazy, which is good. Good in a crazy sense, if that's can be good, right? But it's just been eventful, to say the least. So just a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, and so. But we're here. We're here on Friday, and so we're ready to definitely yell with you guys. So we are going to be talking about goals, and maybe not so much like going into like goal setting and stuff like that. That can definitely be another time, right? That could definitely be another live. We can talk about that, but I do want to talk about the importance of goals, right? Because especially what we've dealt with this year, probably a lot of us, I would say, had set some pretty lofty goals at the beginning of the year, and then COVID hit, right? And where we are now.
I think probably goals changed, a couple months into the year and halfway through the year, and even right now. I'm excited to talk about it because I know you set some really big goals for yourself, and I think I want to hear more about it, and I want everyone, I want to yell about it. But I think that there's a lot of things that I've set, you've set, and some of it we've accomplished, and some of it we haven't.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be great to look at the rest of the year, and like I'm glad you called it Goal Audit, because we can evaluate and move forward. But
yeah, that when we were talking about this, when you had sent me the text about what you wanted to talk about, the first thing that came to mind was Goal Audit, like auditing how this year has gone. And that's so important because like you have to audit where you're at. You can't just be blind to what happened, what didn't happen, because if you don't audit, you can't make any changes, and you can't grow in that sense. So for me, I had some lofty goals. I still have them on the board. And like you said something very interesting. A lot of people had changed their goals, right? And because of just what happened. And I was in the mind frame I said, no, right? I'm not going to do that. Those are the goals I set out, and I'm not going to allow something in the outside world that I necessarily can't control. Like no one could control COVID, right? No one, it was gonna happen, right? And so I said to myself, I was like, well, I'm not going to change my goals. These are my goals. If I back down from them, and this is just me, guys, like I'm not calling anybody out, right? This is just how my mentality works. I said, if I back down from this, then I'll always take a step back when something gets tough, right? That's just kind of how I do things, and so I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think we went into survival mode, and it's not just with work, but relationships, and that I think that people are just trying to get by. Like they're just trying. I mean, I was telling you before we had started here that this week the last couple of weeks have been bad. And, I've been hearing from a lot of people that with COVID and just the social and the negativity and, a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about with social media and the effects of all of this stuff happening during the pandemic, it's really starting to get bad for people, and in different aspects. And I think that, sometimes the stuff that we're still working on, I'll talk about some of my goals when we get in, but I think that there's new goals that we've had to set just to get through the next couple months.
Yeah.
Our sanities too, and our mental health and our physical health. And there's, new things that came up, but
yeah. And to get right into it, some of the goals that I had set, right, for those that don't know, right, what me and Mel actually do for a living, I'm in financial services, so I do help people put plans together to help them make and save more money. So a financial advisor, okay? And so I had some big lofty goals because really I wanted 2020 to be the catalyst to my direction. And so hindsight, right, is 20. But anyway, so some of the big goals I had set were let me rephrase that, they're still very plausible and still can happen, were to open my own office, right? And so and a little bit of knowledge behind that is that I always wanted to, the reason I want to open my own office because I always pictured having my name on a door somewhere, and that might sound like weird or whatever, but like for me, that is just like to like walk up and unlock the door to my office. It's mine, right? It's my office. It's not, I work for somebody else and it's somebody else's office I'm opening up, right? And it just signifies all the hard work and effort and all the failures that I overcame to get to be able to open that office door, right? It's like, when one door opens, right, that kind of saying, like, it's like you're opening to more opportunity. And so, but yeah, that is the big goal still. And I still have a couple of months to hit that, but today was really tough. And I didn't even tell you this. I didn't even tell you I was going to talk about this, but today was really tough. And I am normally very, like, my mindset, how I keep it, like I'm always, but every once in a while, when we talked about self-doubt a couple weeks ago, and it was, self-doubt was leaching its way in. And I remember today just feeling really sorry for myself. Mm-hmm. And like, am I going to hit this, right? Is this going to happen? Am I good enough to do this, right? And it was crazy. I was just like, I need an answer, right? I just kind of need an answer at this point. And one of my mentors just randomly called me and told me, like, hey, I just had this feeling to give you a call. Just want to let you know, however hard life is hitting you, you need to hit harder back.
Right.
And that was literally the conversation. It was probably like 5 minutes. And it was just like,
that was your sign. Like that, yeah. That was your sign. And it's weird. I was talking to somebody that something happened similar to that, where just weird timing that everything, I always joke like everything happens for a reason, but that you needed that extra step of hearing that stuff.
Yeah. And like I said, it's in order to hit that goal, I had set activity goals and stuff like that, and had set some, some benchmark goals each month to hit and stuff like that. So it's close. It's just, we live in a society that we want it to happen now. And so when it doesn't happen right when you want it to happen, you get nervous, right? And you start like, is this going to happen? Like, am I going to get to the finish line? Right. I think everybody feels that way about their big, and then especially like, cause I also put it out there, right? Like I put it out on social media. I put it out on everybody I talk to.
It's a lot of pressure for it to perform when you put it out there. Like, hey, I want to do this. I need to do this by this date. It's pressure. People are watching you, and you're accountable for sure.
Yeah. So, but what kind of big goals did you have set?
Yeah, so I definitely, and you can appreciate this. We talked about this. I wanted to get more of my finances in order. I had gotten into some debt after my divorce, and I really wanted to, be financially independent and feel good about my checking, my savings, I kind of started a health savings account that I can put money aside for, a couple $100 in case I need for medical bills. And I started a vacation fund. Before COVID, there wasn't much in it. Obviously, I just started it, but I was working through the shutdown, and I really wasn't spending a lot of money. So I started putting some money aside. And when I had first opened, I've had a business account for my business where I've taken a draw. I don't like get paychecks or a salary, so I would use whatever I wanted and spend whatever. And it was so confusing. Honestly, my QuickBooks was a mess, and keeping everything in one account was a nightmare. And it always has been. But I ended up getting another checking account at a different bank, because for me, separating it and keeping my personal money here and my business money here, I just needed better. I'm not good at it. So I've been doing really well. And when I opened the account, the manager who's in my networking group said I thought he said he wanted me to have 500 in like a reserve, which is an overdraft, and then 5,000 in a savings account. And I was like, $5,000. I've never had, I was telling you, I'm like, I haven't had that a savings and all this for a long time, and I'm almost there. So I just talked to him yesterday. He said I needed only 100 in that overdraft, so I moved it back over. But I'm almost to 5,000 in my savings,
There you go.
and over in my vacation fund, and I'm building that with slowly too with the health savings. So I feel really good about it. I think I was reading too that it was the top goal for 2020 for Americans was getting their finances in order. And I think you can and appreciate that in what you're doing is all these people that are coming, whether it's retirement or just, obviously their finances are what you do. So
yeah. No, I mean that's an amazing goal. Like, and then like that you're close to accomplishing it, right? And I think, something about goals too, and I wanted to bring it up, get your thoughts on it. Like, I think for some of us, right, we're so like, hey, I can do it by myself, right? I can do it. Like, I don't need anybody's help. I can do this. I can do this. And I think, because of just one of the things that I posted, kind of asking for like, if anybody knows anybody, I would love to have a conversation about what I do, right? Kind of put it out there in the universe that that I do need help, right? And I think that's hard for us to admit sometimes when you're like, I do need help sometimes. I do need that advice. I do need, to put it out there, because you just never know what might happen in that realm.
Oh yeah, and I did that with even with you. We talked back. I would tell you I need help, and being able to ask for help for sure. I think there's a lot of things that we try to do on our own, but we definitely need help. And even looking at goals and accomplishing things, there's a lot that we can't do on our own. There's a lot that we have so much skills at one thing, and again, like the finances. I mean, I had it all going on with my business. Hey, I can, I've got it here, but I wasn't doing anything for myself. I wasn't putting money aside. I have the IRA, I have that, but I never had like a personal checking account where I could say, okay, I'm going to put this aside. And it took me a while, I think, with clarity too. But yeah, I think what's funny is at the bank, I mean, obviously the bankers can see our accounts, obviously, let's not be naive. Like they can, anyone that works at a bank can look up I mean, technically they're probably not supposed to, but they can look up our information. And I know that, the manager there who I set the account up with and I set these goals, he's looking at my account at any point. Or, if I call and I say, hey, I had an issue, or this was whatever it is, they're looking at these accounts. And I think that, for a little bit, I knew that he could see that I wasn't maybe saving enough or putting enough aside, or it was just a couple hundred or this. So it's actually interesting now. I look at it, it's kind of sick, but like I know that I can go to him and say, hey, look what I've got here. I can actually, someone actually can see it. So it's almost that accountability, but it's like I can show it off in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a sense of pride too, right? Because like you said something that you wanted to do and you're making it happen. And I think a big thing too is like realizing that it's not like, yes, like you want to hit your goals, you set them, you put them down on paper, you speak about them, right? You put the effort in. And I think too, for a lot of people, like they're so like the reason why a lot of people don't start goals is that they're afraid to fail, right? They're afraid that if they put it out there and it doesn't happen, like that they didn't do it, right? That it didn't happen for them. And so I think for a big thing for me too is understanding that like, listen, I'm going to go all out for the last 3 months of this year and make it happen. But if I don't make it happen, right? If I don't make it happen by the end of the year, like look at everything else I accomplished.
Right.
You had to accomplish some stuff along the way in order to get even close to your goal, right?
Yeah, and definitely. And even like these new goals that were coming up, I wanted to bring this up when you said something earlier at the leadership conference last week. We were talking about things with organizations and businesses and leadership. And one of the things was an annual report. So I thought this was great. If you don't have an annual report to show what you did for the year, you don't have anything to show. I mean, there's no way to really prove what you did, how you impacted people, money that you made, anything like that. And I thought that was huge because even for my event, my yard sale event, I've been thinking about putting some type of a media kit in the annual report almost to show. Because really when you're selling the event to other people or that. And I also thought, you and I talked about this, and we can, maybe at the end we can go into it, but almost a personal annual report. I don't know what it's called, but to show, we talked about that. A lot of people set goals around New Year's resolutions, right? And then we look back at the end of the year and what did you do? I think it would be great for us, and we talked about it, but this is why we're doing this podcast, because we wanted to talk about these goals and what we've achieved, but make basically a personal annual report. I don't know what it's called. What would you call it? Evaluation. I don't know.
Yeah, like an evaluation. I love because I mean, like if you think about it, right? Especially if you own your own business, right? Or doesn't even have to be owning your business. It could be you losing weight. It could be
like remodeling
learning
your house,
learning a new language, something along those lines. But if you were, I remember because I managed a lot of people, right? And we would always have an annual kind of review of the employee, right? You would be like, hey, we would even have it every 6 months, be like, hey, this is what you're doing. This is how you're progressing. This is where areas I would like to see you kind of grow, right? Mm-hmm. I had annual reviews, mm-hmm. right? And then it was crazy because this year, like I got away from that, mm-hmm. and I didn't give myself an annual or like a monthly review or anything like that. And so that's something I want to implement is like to start, reviewing each month. Okay, how did I perform this month? Where were the pitfalls? Mm-hmm. Because if you think about it, like you have like a funnel, right? And so you have all the stuff that you go into the funnel. And so if you're doing like all these things right, but then you do one section of the funnel wrong, that's where that result escapes out of, right? Yeah. And so being able to be like, okay, well, I'm doing this. Okay, this is where this is falling apart. This is where I need to make an adjustment, right? But having an annual review and not beating yourself up about it, but just knowing, okay, this is what I did wrong. This is how I'm going to fix it.
Right.
Move on.
And we go back to being our own worst critic. And, when we also like the perfectionism in a lot of us, but we forget all the good that we have done. Like we hyper focus, I feel like, on the stuff that we're not doing, like my website that I talk about that I need to be, and this staying busy, not business, right? But I think that we forget that all the things that we have done, and we get disappointed sometimes in the things that we haven't, but we really should focus on what we have done too, that, not necessarily to distract from what our other goals were.
But you have to celebrate the victories. You have to.
Yeah.
Like you have to celebrate those.
Yeah, and I think for me, I'll give one just interesting. I had, obviously needed more income last year. I should have gone before that, well, obviously, but I started doing more on we said marketing and communication side, and I'm definitely, you know, looking at different things that I want to do. And I took the experience that I did for that over a year. And one of my goals for this year was to get 2 or 3 new monthly clients, monthly contracts where I knew, again, it goes back to finances, but it also goes back to my portfolio and my business, knowing that it's a guaranteed customer and client and stuff. But I did it. I pitched, I put it all together. I said, here's what I did for them. Here's what I can do for you. And I got two things. I just posted today that I'm going to be doing communications, and very little, but it's baby steps for Hummelstown Borough, because this is where I live, and I want to be involved in where I live. So that was 2 things that I really set myself on, and it happened. I made it happen. So again, should be also doing my website.
Yeah.
But
but I mean, that's a major milestone, right? I think in my mind, like that's something that you accomplished. Like, and I think we also, me and you have had some hidden goals that we didn't know there were goals, and all of a sudden they became goals, right? Like this podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
heck yeah.
And a big goal of mine was, and it's really hard to track this goal, but I wanted to be known in my community and people to know who I was, and to increase my network.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a conservative effort to, reach out to as many people as I possibly could. And I think I've done that. Like, I mean, obviously, we met, if it wasn't for one of us, I can't remember who reached out to who, but right. And having that conversation. And so, that was a big thing of mine, was to increase the network of people. And because I posted about it today in one of the Central PA group, of just about like, it's not about what you know or how charismatic you are, or it's about who you know and how you treat other people. So, and that was a big thing. That was a big focus this year. Because it helps increase referrals, right? Because people know you, they know what you do. But just growing relationships was a big goal for me this year.
Yeah. And I think definitely for me, I'm trying to focus a little bit. I've been on the West Shore for so long that a lot of the people that I knew and networking was over there. And it's this whole thing. I don't know how much you hear about this, but like East Shore, West Shore. Oh, I don't want to drive. It's so far across the river. I don't want to drive over there. West Shore people don't want to come to East Shore. East Shore people don't want to go to the West Shore. And obviously there's enough to live and not have to go to either shore. But I go back, and I was driving back and forth every day for where I lived and work. But now that I'm in the Hershey area, in Hummelstown here, it's something that I'm going to have to work on myself to build a little bit more of a network here for my business, because it even though it's so close and you're 20, 30 minutes from each place, it almost has their own kind of network group.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I was thinking about it the other day. Like, I talked to my wife. I feel like everything that I like, the area I'm in, like in the Lancaster area, I feel like everything in Pennsylvania is always 30 minutes away. Like, no matter where you're going, like, you're always like, unless you're going to Philadelphia or, Pittsburgh. But I feel like most, like, the establishments, you're like, oh, I'm going to go see Mel. Well, Mel's like 30 minutes away. Okay.
Right.
It's like.
It is. It's
But, some other big accomplishments I've had is just, I have increased my client list, which was great. And some other goals that I had, whether it be, assets under management and stuff like that, have been big wins for me. But like I said, I think the biggest thing for people to remember is, like I was thinking about it today. Like I was thinking about like the goals that I want to hit, right? And it's like a wall, right? And you can feel like you're just running against that wall for a long period of time, right? Or you're punching it, right? And you're hitting it with everything that you got and it's not budging. But like you have to keep punching it because one day you're going to crack that brick, right? And that crack is going to lead to another crack. And then all of a sudden you're going to punch that brick out. And all of a sudden you're going to be able to stick your hand through and start pulling bricks out, right? And so that's been really like I said, that whole ordeal today with the mentor type of thing just really led me to like look inside a little bit deeper and kind of think about it. And that analogy just came to me. So, but anybody that needs to hear that, yeah, just keep punching the wall, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it goes back to, some of the goals that I've set and looking at some of the things too. It's a lot about willpower and motivation and really staying dedicated to something too. I mean, it takes a lot of willpower that, even the stuff that you're doing, that, the time, the effort, to staying on task and staying focused. That's, I think, why a lot of people and, and us and just everybody, that we don't maybe accomplish some of the goals is the, the motivation, the willpower, and then the know how to do it, I guess, is like the next thing. But yeah, I had set technically, during the shutdown when that happened, I guess I set a new goal of staying in the community and being able to keep my name out there in my business and give back. And how can I, there's a need. I want to solve it. I want to help because I wasn't really working. And I created that mass drive and brought people together and had no idea even what that the things that would come of it. And then I did one with care packages and with small businesses and stuff. And I think for me, that carried those goals that I made just for the shutdown, let's just say, carried me through that. And they would have never happened nor been on my radar at the beginning of the year. Would have never done them because it would have just been something with business and even personal life. So those are two examples of things that came up, almost just goals during quarantine almost, which is crazy to think about. But
yeah, I mean, if you didn't make that decision, just think about it like this. I think I've mentioned this before. I'm the guy that goes down the rabbit hole of just going down of like all the different connections and stuff like that. If you didn't make that decision, right, and say, hey, I'm not going to just shut it down and just wait for this to kind of go over. You said, hey, I'm going to get in the community and try to do things, and you probably would have never joined the Central PA group, right? And then all of a sudden you would have never been on Greg's live and we would have never had a conversation, because that was the reason I reached out to you. I was like, oh, look, somebody I want to reach out to.
It's interesting that you say that, because I feel that some of the goals that we end up making are because of other smaller goals and decisions that we make. And it's almost like you said, it's like the rabbit hole, but it's almost like the things sort of fall into place sometimes, because after I did those two, I would say initiative, community initiative kind of things, I ended up really getting motivated to get more involved, but it was also with my business. So that's where I had pitched around the same time. I think I was like putting those more of the marketing and communication, just brand management kind of more, those packages together to bring to some businesses that I saw a need. I said, hey, there's a need here. You need help. Let me help you. And they accepted, obviously. But all that being said, I think that happened because of that goal that I made during the shutdown. And then I wanted more. Okay. So then I set a goal after. It was interesting, like how I never thought about it until now we're having this conversation, because then I wanted, how can I get more involved in the community and the town, and whether it's with business or nonprofit or leadership. And then I started looking into the leadership Harrisburg area. And then I thought, you know what? I really want to improve my leadership skills and my experience and meet other people who are like-minded and giving back to the community. And then I joined the Leadership Harrisburg. So I don't think I would have, that all those events would have happened if I hadn't set these little goals maybe along the way.
Yeah. Now that I mean, like you said, it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
It wouldn't have. And one of the other goals, it was a personal goal, so it wasn't necessarily for me, like how I set goals. And I know I don't want to get into goal setting, but like I have 4 main areas that I take a look at. Like finance obviously is big, mm-hmm. right? I would hope it would be big with a financial advisor, right? Finance big goal. Fitness, faith, and family. So focusing on the F's, right? And so that's where my goals kind of stem from. And one of those, health, is not just like how you physically look, right, guys? It's also mentally how you're healthy. And so one of the things you can ask my wife, I am not a book reader, like never have been. Just like if I read a book a year, that was a lot of reading for me. Mm-hmm. So, but in order to grow, like you will only grow as far as like your personal development is gone. Like whatever you're trying to do, if it's lose weight, business, whatever it is, you will only go as far as you can grow. And so a big goal for me was to read 12 books this year, like read a book a month. Right. And so
how's that going?
I am well ahead of schedule. So, but you brought up something that reminded me of a book that I read, and it's called The Compound Effect. And I have a saying that it's on my phone. It's plastered everywhere, and it has to deal with if I do the right things long enough, no matter how small they are, I'll get to where I want to be. I'll be successful. Mm-hmm. And this book called The Compound Effect is that. So like you were talking about earlier, just like the little things, doing like talking to people, doing the things that necessarily don't bring you money, right? Or things along those lines, right? Putting time into something, but taking those little steps each day towards your goal, like doing the daily stuff.
Little feats of success is what I always
add up over time, right? And will lead you the first step in the might be a baby step, but if you take a bunch of baby steps, you can still get to your destination.
Oh yeah, I've been saying that. I heard something about that within the last year or two, and it's like little feats of success. And I tell it to my sister because now she's at the rehab hospital, which is great, trying to get her strength back and working on that. And it's exactly the same when it comes to, you think about like a rehab journey where you couldn't walk and you're trying to run, but we keep having to remind her that you have to regain the muscle memory. You have to, I don't know anything about the anatomy part.
Yeah.
But it's little tiny things each day. She is improving. She might not see it, or we may not think that it's a lot, but little tiny feats of success add up to, and that can be in so many aspects of our goals, that we just do little things each day, and it definitely adds up.
Yeah. I mean, I just got 2 new books. So I'm almost done the book that I'm reading right now, which is it's called You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And if you don't know who David Goggins is, you need to search him. But he's an ex-Navy SEAL, had a really rough childhood, had a really rough life. Everything came hard to him.
Yeah.
And just the stuff that he had to overcome. But he gives you a lot of examples. But, that was a major goal I had this year, was to read as many books as I possibly can, because if you look at successful people, they read a lot of books.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think you've motivated me for my 2021 goal is to do that. 1 book a month.
And it's easy. Like if you think about it, like if you read, like I usually keep them within that 300 page, and a lot of books nowadays are right around that. And that's, if you were to read 10 pages a day for a month, you could finish a book.
You could,
and I tried to make them books where they weren't like just like, like about some I tried to make it more like a self-development or read a book about like my career or something along those lines, something I could use. So yeah, that was a big goal, and I've already accomplished that. So that's a win. That's definitely in the check when I audit myself.
You've exceeded your goal. Well, you will, I guess, if you continue.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm at 17 books right now for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the big thing right now. So, but speaking of 2021, right? Because guess what, guys? This year's almost over. So
we still have time.
We still have time. But 2021, I think we kind of talked about it before we got on, is that this is a great opportunity to really set up 2021. Mm-hmm. Instead of walking into it or limping or crawling into 2021, you can really take these next couple months and really set yourself up for sprinting into 2021.
Right.
So
yeah, I think making that, just like we did today, looking back at 2020 and seeing the stuff that we've already accomplished and continuing to set goals for the rest of the year, even if there's just really simple, even if they're really simple, like finish the year out. And then, like you said, set some really big ones for next year. I think that I have heard, I guess it goes back to goal with setting goals, that people, like when you think it or you dream it and you tell yourself you're going to do it, you believe it and it happens. I don't know what that all is. There's weird stuff about it, but I feel that's sort of what I did. I set these goals and I made it happen. I did it, and I think that for me, the last couple of years before that, I didn't have much of successes with things. I was kind of going down with many things. And I almost feel that now, well, if I can do that, I can do anything. If I can get my money in order and I can start saving and I can do this, I can do that. I mean, it's confidence when it comes down to it, I think a little bit too, that you can, if you set your mind to something, that you can really do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you said right there just kind of sparked something in me. Humans are capable of the most wonderful things, right? But we're also capable of really awful things too. But for goal setting and goal audit, we'll talk about the wonderful things, right? And even in a moment where you're not where you want to be, right? Like you said, you're going down, you're going down, you're going down. Our ability to be survivors and to thrive after that, I mean, there's just so many points in history where you can point that out, but only in your own personal life. I mean, we have gotten where we are today because we're survivors, right? And we're not going to be the ones that like kind of just like, oh, that's just how life is. I'm just going to roll with it, right? It's the people that decide that, no, I'm going to get back up and I'm going to move forward, that end up winning the fight, that end up getting to the mountaintop. And so that when you said that, it kind of just hit me all of a sudden. That was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have to take control of things. I guess we can't ignore it. I ignored things for a long time and it just got worse. And I think you're right. We have to face things and take control, and it's turning things over and it's setting a goal. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, where, hey, I don't like this. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to be here. And, how do I get there? And just setting goals to get there, for sure. I had wanted to get a better workspace area. And during the shutdown, I started, I got a desk and I got a chair, and I'm so much more productive now that I have this, more of an office, and I have some stuff on the walls and they're little, it's just little tiny things that I think we can set little tiny goals and start somewhere, and then it really changed everything. I get so much more done now having this space of my own.
Yeah. I mean, I think as human beings, most of us want order, right? We want things in even the most disorganized person still likes things in order. Like
organized clutter.
Unlike, if you don't put the scissors away, it
Oh
melts.
gosh. Don't leave those scissors out.
Don't leave the scissors out. But I think for the most part, we all want order, and that's what goals give us. It gives us like an order to life, right? It's like, what do I need to do in order to get this goal, right? And so, like I remember me making goals for myself, right? When I wasn't the version I am today of myself, life just seemed to kind of just move on by, right? Just like, hey, another year passed, really didn't accomplish anything, just kind of just lived, right? Just kind of here. And I think like goals give us purpose, goals give us vision, goals, like when you start to stretch yourself, like you'll find out a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
How far you can stretch, right?
Right. Yeah, and even just the travel goals that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Sure. I had been wanting to go for years to Lake Louise, and it was never going to happen if I didn't set it as a goal. So I just said, hey, I want to do this. We're going to do this, and it's something to look forward to for the fall of next year, for a year from now, and we have to set goals of budgeting and putting money aside too. So that right there, even just traveling and setting a goal of going to places that we talked about last week, those are goals. I mean, where you want to go and travel more.
Yeah. And set big goals, right? Set big goals. And I'm going to set a big goal right here, right now.
Uh-oh.
Right for this podcast. Next year, we're going to have 1 million followers.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, we are. We're going to have 1 million followers. We're going to shoot high.
I am scared of this goal, but you know what? I did the same thing about getting us to 1,000, and I said, go big or go home.
Well, we might as well go really big. Right?
Might as well.
You set a big high target, so even if you aim high and you miss high. So
I said that. What was this quote? You shoot for the moon, and if you don't make it, if you miss, you'll still land within the stars.
Yeah, you land on a star or something like that.
I said that last week to somebody, but
yeah,
I mean, I love that. You know what? Let's set that goal. Let's get 1 million.
Already here.
I'll tell you what, because if we don't, we're going to get a lot still. If we set that goal, we'll still get.
Yeah, even if you get halfway, right?
Even if you get oh gosh, I'm like
a quarter,
a tenth.
I mean, that's what you mean. That's the perfect way to kind of end this whole thing, is that if you aim high or you aim for the moon, but you miss it, you might hit a star, right? And so, I mean, that's like kind of a perfect way to end today. I thought it was a really good conversation about goals. Maybe one time, maybe in a live coming up, we can definitely talk about goal setting, maybe some of the things that we do and how that works. Especially because we are going to come into 2021, whether you like it or not, it's coming. Right. We don't know what it's going to look like. Really quick, I saw somebody the other day post a picture of a 2021 planner, and they were like, "Should I open it? Like, do I want to open Pandora's box?"
Yeah, what's gonna happen? We don't know, but yeah, I mean, I think it'll be great for us to set some goals and be hold yourself, and then have other people hold you accountable. You put it out there, and then it pushes you, like you said. It's on Facebook. It's all over. It doesn't
go away. It doesn't go away. But I mean, I love. Somebody asked me the other day, "Do you like the pressure you put on yourself?" And I said, "I love it because it makes it like urgent." Right? If I didn't put pressure on, if I just said I'm going to lose 10 pounds next month, right? Or I just said I'm going to lose 10 pounds this year. Mm-hmm. Like there's no pressure, right? But if I said I'm going to lose 10 pounds in a week, there's a lot of pressure, right? Yeah. And it's going to force you to do it. It's going to force you to go after it. So, but I think it's that time, right? Even though I don't have much of it.
It's my week, millennial meme.
We need a jingle.
We did say that the last time. I'm working on some videos, guys. Actually, it was, let's say, my goal for next Friday, for next podcast, is to have an intro, at least some type of an animation thing going on. I am working on it. All right, I'm ready. I thought this was great, talking about willpower and motivation. Are we ready?
Yes.
Boom.
Today
is the day. I can feel it. Today I will catch that tail. And it's a dog up on the counter looking at himself in the mirror in the bathroom. And he's just pumping himself up. And he's just telling himself, this is the day. I'm
oh my God. It's funny because it's funny because I do that. Like, I look at myself in the mirror in the morning and
no.
You got this, Billy. You can do it. You can go after it today. Like, you deserve it, and like all that stuff. And so when I see that dog, I definitely
do it. Oh my gosh. So I thought this was great. We'll put it on our Instagram so we can help motivate everybody with their goals. But I thought while we were doing a live, that we could announce our winner. We were doing contests, and I follow through. I always follow through with my promises here. And we have a bottle of red or a bottle of white wine that I'm giving. Okay. And guess what? My wine arrived today for our wine at home party, and I'm super excited. So I would like you to pick a number between 1 and 10, random, and I'm going to announce our winner of our bottle of wine. And then after this, I'm going to put our next contest and our next prize up.
What? Look at this. We are breaking news, guys. We need a little breaking news little thing, right?
On the bottom.
Like in your face. Like,
okay, 1 to 10. 1 to 10.
The number that first came to my head, right, is lucky number 4.
Okay, Sarah Barr. You're the winner. Sarah Barr, Thomas Print and Marketing.
Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
She is our wine winner. So I will message her, but congratulations. And thank you everybody else who had tagged people and shared and liked everything. We're really trying to grow our Facebook and our Instagram and all of our, obviously, followers on all the other podcast venues and avenues, Podbean and iTunes and Spotify and all that. So congrats.
Congrats. That's good wine. You're going to have a good time with that. Especially this. Yeah. Maybe you might get it this weekend. Who knows?
Maybe. We'll see we're going to open that bad boy up. Yeah, so that's great. And I'll put up some fun things too. We love to give some stuff away, but we just want to try to get more, now we set a really big goal, guys. 1 million followers.
I mean, 1 million followers, I might shave my beard and my head if we get 1 million.
You're going to have to shave your whole body. Like, that's...
Maybe not the eyebrows. You got to keep those.
No, including the eyebrows.
Leave the eyebrows, please. Please, anything but the eyebrows.
That is so funny.
But anyways, guys, we really do appreciate everybody that jumped on, watched today. Make sure that you do audit yourself this year, right? Audit these goals, audit your stuff. Make sure that you're on track, and they'll give you the opportunity to make some adjustments. But like I said, guys, we do appreciate you jumping on here. If you know of people that would definitely love the content that we produce, please make sure you share this, you like this, you comment on this. You even set your notifications, let you know that we're live, but we are live for the most part every Friday at 12 for your viewing lunch pleasures, if you will. Take a break from your busy day and come hang out with us. But before we get out of here, right, because we're gonna get into this weekend, and Mel's already ready for the weekend. She already told us, right? She's ready for it. So Mel, leave us with any type of thing you want to leave us with, word of advice. Go.
Yeah, I think, when we talk about these goals and things that we're all doing, a lot of us are in survival mode. Like we said, we're just trying to get by and get through a lot of it. And, I think that we have to slow down. I think that we have to just be. So this weekend, my goal is to just be and not try to make things more than they are and, worry about things, and just relax and just be and try to, I actually wanted to use this hashtag relationship goals. We've seen those pictures, and it's like hashtag relationship goals. So everybody, hashtag relationship goals. Just this weekend, just, try to forget everything that's going on and just be and have a good time and be in the moment and be present and make great memories and hashtag goals.
Nice. I think I'm going to call this part of the podcast a Mel moment.
Mel moment.
Yes.
It's great. I love giving my expert advice.
Yes, the Mel moment of the podcast. But anyway,
it starts to go and it's like this somber. We need jingles for all of it.
Yeah, I love it. But anyways, guys, we do appreciate it. Like I said, and Mel said it perfectly. Make sure you make some good memories this weekend with your family. Do some cool stuff. Forget about what's going on in the world. Take some time for yourself and do that. But anyways, guys, like I said, we do appreciate it. We'll be seeing you real soon. We'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.